What's going on, guys? I'm going to do our lure review this week on a swim bait. I know a lot of you guys have been asking me to do a lure review on a swim bait. Well, I just went and got one this afternoon and decided that I was going to do a lure review on it. So this is going to be on the 5-inch Osprey Lures Tournament Line Through Talon Swimbait. And so let's go ahead and take a closer look at it. Alright guys, so like I said, it's going to be the Osprey Lures Tournament Line Through Talon Swimbait. This is the 5-inch. Here's the package it comes in. You can see it says 5-inch inline or line through. Osprey Lure, ospreylure.com. Pretty simple packaging here. So anyway, here's what we settled on. This is the line through swim bait. So if you're not familiar with a line through type of swim bait, generally you'll see a swim bait that has a hook that'll come up, that's a solid hook that comes up through the top here and rounds back like that. And well, this type of swim bait has a treble hook on it, and the way that this swim bait works is you have a line, your line goes through here, through this this weight here that has a hole in it, and spits right back out through the bottom there. Let's see if I can focus on it. So you have the line going through that hole there, and then it kind of comes right back down through here, and then you just hook it up to this barrel swivel here, and it hooks up to this treble hook. And let me show you. Well, first of all, they're just pegged right inside of the lure. So there's your full soft plastic swim bait right there. The idea behind this is that when the fish bites the lure, that they're gonna bite this this treble hook off, and it's gonna release off of the bait, and the swim bait itself will go following up the lure, and all they have to do is fight off of this. The idea is that the fish can't gain very much leverage off of a very, very light hook, as opposed to a big 1.5 ounce swim bait like this, where they're shaking it all around and this thing kind of helps work it loose. They're just trying to shake this thing off, and it just doesn't work out well for them because this thing goes traveling up the line, while the business end of the bait, just the hook itself, ends up staying hooked inside their mouth. I actually went and got to fish with it this afternoon right after I bought it, and I did catch, I would say he was probably about 4 pounds, maybe 4.5 pounds. Some people, I didn't get to weigh him, but the guy that took the picture thought that he may have been around 5 pounds, and some of the people that looked at the picture thought that he may have been over 5, but I'm just going to go ahead and say he was around 4 pounds. And it was fantastic. The bite wasn't anything like I expected. It was a very, very light bite, and that could have been just because of the water conditions, because they were cold. But it was a very interesting bite for me because of the fact that I thought it would be more like a smashing bite, and really, it just felt like any other normal bite that you would feel. Nothing like a jig bite or anything like that, but more like a jerkbait bite where you just there was just line pressure on all of a sudden. So anyway, a little bit more about the Osprey lure. This is the light hitch color. I got this color just because it would work well in stained water, and I fished it in a pond this afternoon, and like I said, it caught me a fish. So very, very thick. You can see the paddle tail here. It has some writing on it. It says Signature Series SJF, and then it has a signature on the bottom. So anyway, you've got 3-dimensional eyes on here. One complaint that I had about this is that after I caught my first fish, this weight in here decided that it wanted to start coming out. So almost after every other cast, the weight would kind of come out a little bit. So it wouldn't come out all the way, and it wouldn't hurt it at all because the weight just goes up the line anyway. But it would come out like this after about every cast. So I called a buddy of mine and I asked him. I was like, "Hey, you know what I got to do about this thing to get this get this thing not coming out. And he told me if it keeps on coming out, just put a little bit of super glue in there. So that's what I'm going to do. But I left it this way just so I can kind of show you. I've got some super glue, and I'm going to super glue it here after this video. But I wanted to show you just an issue that I had with it, and it really isn't a big issue. It's an $18 bait, so you definitely want it to work right, but you kind of expect these issues, especially with the soft body swim bait. You expect, like, where you're going to put the hook in here. You expect that over time, after catching so many fish, that this is going to start to work itself into a groove or a hole. And so you can use some swim bait glue or something like that, and it'll be just fine. I really like the line through design. I think it's really great because you get a treble hook as opposed to just one hook. Usually what they'll do with the one hook design is they'll run a stinger harness towards the back here. And a stinger harness is just, you put some like braided line and you put like a treble hook towards the rear. And I think that this kind of just skips all of that and it works well. Another downside to this though is that if you like to grind it on the bottom, you're going to be picking up stuff if you have a soft bottom. So you're going to be picking up leaves and all kinds of muck if you're fishing in some heavily covered areas. But not a big deal. But anyway, heavy lure here. This is a 5-inch swim bait, like I said. Weighs in at 1.5 ounces. And go ahead and do this measurement for you guys. So from tip to back, it's actually about 5.25 inches long. So anyway, let's go ahead and get a closer look at this. This is Osprey Lure's Tournament Line Through Talon Swimbait, 5-inch. That's light hitch. So light hitch has this very muted blue color running through the middle of it. It's actually, the camera's picking it up a lot brighter than it actually is. It's more muted than it is on camera. The still picture that I'll put in here will probably show up a little bit better. But the color on the back here, it's pretty close on here on camera. It's just this transparent, like most of these swim baits are. They're pretty much transparent. They're made out of this soft plastic. It's got a lot of glitter on the bottom. And we've got the fins here, some fins here, one single fin here, one single fin here, and then a dorsal fin here. Some of the other Talon swim, I think they're Talons by Osprey Lures. They don't have this one. When they get up into like the 6-inch, this one goes away. But anyway, I bought the 5-inch because I figured that the rod that I'm going to use it on, I'm using it on a 7'2" heavy crucial. It's my frog rod, and I figured I could get away with this, and it actually worked out just fine, worked out perfectly. So anyway, if you guys get the opportunity, Osprey Lures, you can check them out at ospreylure.com. I don't fish a lot of swim baits. This is my first swim bait that I've actually owned, and then, like I said, I went out this afternoon and I caught a pretty nice fish on it, so I'm pretty satisfied with it, and I didn't have to go and buy a whole new rig as far as rod and reel, because this is a light enough bait at 1.5 ounces and only 5 inches that you can still cast it with just regular gear like a frog rod or something like that, or a flipping stick, but you can still go out and have fun with swim baits. So anyway, there it is, Osprey Lures Tournament Line Through Talon Swim Bait, 5-inch. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next week.